15 years ago, I saw two movies that I instantly became addicted to: The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape. If you love one, you're gonna love the other. They have a lot in common. Same director, early 60s, at ultra-wide 2:3:5 aspect ratio. They both had almost all the same main actors, but one of them in particular stuck out to me above the rest and was instantly my favorite. And even though I just aged into my double digits, I knew he was cool, and nobody had to tell me why. That man was Steve McQueen. He was the embodiment of cool, and I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be like Steve McQueen, style icon and the king of cool. But how could I be like the king of cool? Why is he the king of cool? Was it the way he dressed? Do clothes maketh the man cool? Is it a mutualistic symbiotic relationship between the man and his clothes? Or is it merely the man that's cool? To find that out, I had to start and dress like him. Now, I'm no cowboy, but maybe I can take some inspiration from the Magnificent Seven. A shirt like this, a bandana, maybe a hat. Nah, I'm from a small town in Michigan, not New Mexico. I like it, but I don't feel it. Maybe The Great Escape. I mean, that's prison clothes, but man, does that jacket do wonders. And yeah, it's not exactly the same jacket. His is way better, but I feel cooler already. But I'm not there yet. Maybe from Bullet. Now, that's more my style. Heck yeah, with a turtleneck, I feel cooler than Johnny Bravo. What the heck am I doing, man? This ain't me, and I still don't feel as cool as Steve McQueen. There's gotta be something more than his clothes, or even the way he talks, because even one picture of this man says 1,000 words. You know you're cool by your very nature when you can feel it with him just standing in the frame, saying nothing, doing nothing. It's in his face. It tells a story worth hearing. I need to know more about the man. He was born Terrence Steve McQueen in Indiana in 1930. The Great Depression, which could just be another title for his early years, is not nearly a year into his life on Earth. His father abandoned him. His farm-raised mother was an alcoholic sleazebag who left Steve to live with his uncle, who actually he admired and respected. But after getting trouble in the gangs, he left his uncle because he couldn't bring dishonor to the man he honored most. So he traveled with a circus and eventually found his country mom in LA. Things didn't get better though. He threatened to kill a super abusive stepdad, which led him to reform school, the Boys Republic, which he said later saved him from a life of crime. Life was rough though. His mom only scheduled one day to see him, and when he found that day, he was out there in the morning waiting for her all day until the sun went down. And she never came, and he just sat there, bawling his eyes out crying. What a country bitch. He finally got to live with his mom, until she got another man and kicked him out and told him to live next door with another dude. See a pattern here? So he said F it, and he worked on a ship and then finally went into the Marine Corps. He was still troubled though, and he went to the brig for going AWOL trying to see his girlfriend, even beating up the military police. And yeah, you could tell he disliked rules, a definite bad boy trait, but at least he was honorably discharged at 20, where he was found by writer and director Mark Rydell. And he chose acting over bathroom renovation.
Because he felt that was a good place to meet girls. But once he got into it like anything else. He had the need to be the best, and he worked very hard at being the best.
He smoked weed, rode bikes, and cheated on his wife Neil all the time. Gee, as if he's trying to fill the void of a certain woman in his life who never gave him the love he needed, eh? Wouldn't you know? But he loved his children to death because he never had a father figure.
He really was wonderful with them because he saw the world through the eyes of a child.
And even in the height of his career, he'd visit the reform school a few times a year, showing troubled youths just like he was that there's a better path in life. You gotta respect the man for that. And when his mother died, even though he loathed and resented her,
Steve kept hoping that she'd recover. It really hit him hard at that point, and he sat down and just sobbed.
He was competitive, even with his wife. He was always looking for approval and was insecure about his manhood. He wanted, even on set, a dad to tell him that he was a good guy. His wife Neil was his rock, even though he cheated on her all the time. But when that toxic drug and sexual revolution crawled out of hell, he partook in it like a flower child would, unabashedly and openly. So finally they divorced. Then he married his co-star, who was already married, beat her, married again, but was still best friends after all that with Neil. He finally hit rock bottom and lived in seclusion. Grew out his hair, his beard, got a beer gut, and then got God. After just a few more movies and a cleanup, he died of a rare form of cancer from exposure to asbestos, where he died with a Bible on his chest. Only at the end did he find peace and purpose in his life. At least it was a tragedy with a happy ending. It's ironic. The King of Cool was an insecure man trying to hold on to his childhood, distrusting women, trying to prove his masculinity his whole life until the very end when he found peace in silence, friends, and God. The man is still the King of Cool, no doubt in my mind. And when he was off camera and he was himself with the boys, he just ride motorcycles all day and chill. That's cool. He was a father who loved his children and kept them away from the Hollywood lifestyle because he knew what it would do. That's even cooler. His face told the harsh, cruel story of his life, his major pitfalls and his major success. And no one can emulate that. You have to walk the walk. So clothing does not maketh the man, it's the man and his life. But for us who aren't Steve McQueen, clothing can definitely help. And by wearing his clothing, his uniform, his armor, we can take a piece of him, so to speak, and you'll feel it when you do. It's like when you wear your grandpa's old army uniform. You're not a soldier, but you definitely feel like one. And that's when you come to honor and respect him the most. But what I learned the most from all this is that the King of Cool was just as vulnerable as any of us, that perception is extremely powerful, and that it really is suffering that molds us into men. And so we can still learn, though, from the King of Cool's mistakes and keep on suffering, but keep on the path that he only took at the end of his life, the less destructive one. So here's to you, Steve. Rest in peace. Time to buy his jacket.